Jason loved rebelling against what was expected of him. It gave him the most exhilarating of feelings to cross authority and win. He wanted to take it to a new level, however, and the only way he could do that was to go against the town's biggest rule. Don't visit the lakeside at night. Jason didn't know why he wasn't supposed to go to the lakeside. He imagined it was some ridiculous superstition that wasn't backed by any legitimate reason. It wasn't talked about, and they hadn't tried to fix the problem that prevented him from going down there. Jason decided that tonight he would go down there and find out what all of the noise was about. Going back to his house, he went straight up to his room. His parents were ignorant, and he didn't care much for them. He did a long time ago. But the two parties had fallen out. His entrance into the house, without a greeting from either parent, was evidence enough. Jason had gotten over caring about this, however. They were holding him down anyway. He wouldn't be controlled by authority. When his parents eventually had gone to sleep, the time was nigh for him to leave. He put on a black jacket and dark pants so that he would be inconspicuous as possible. With him, he brought a flashlight and a knife, just in case there was something out there that was worth worrying about. Sneaking outside as quietly as possible, he took the route through the woods that led to the lakeside. There was a fog, but it wasn't thick enough to be deterrent. After 10 minutes of walking, Jason was at the lakeside. He paused for a moment and reveled in the glory of him, once again outsmarting those who called themselves his superiors. At this moment in time, he was their superior and could not be beaten. This was the best it would get, and he wanted to enjoy it for as long as he could. Feeling immortal, he went closer to the lake and looked into the water. He couldn't see much with it being night, so he took his flashlight out and lit the surface of the water. It was murky and not much to look at, but he kept the light on anyway. He didn't want to miss anything of possible interest. Right before he was about to leave, he flashed the surface of the water again and saw a black straw hat floating towards him. He thought this was strange, considering the water appeared still to him, but the murkiness of it might be hiding a slight current. He waited for the hat to bump to the shoreline and picked it up. The bottom was a little muddy and wet, but that was to be expected. He inspected it closer with his flashlight and saw that there were a couple of finger-sized holes in it. Since it was straw, he paid no attention to it. He put the hat on and turned around to walk away. As he was starting to head back, a sudden splash from behind him made him turn around. He thought he'd seen a black shape coming out of the water, but this newly acquired hat fell and blocked his vision. Pushing it back into place, he was then face to face with a grotesque creature. Fear petrified him, and he dropped his flashlight. The creature's skin was gray and had pointed teeth randomly dispersed in its mouth. Soaked from the lake water. Its long black hair smelled unbearably awful. Its arms were muscular, and its hands were webbed. Its face, though, was what horrified Jason the most. Its eyes were pure black. Its nose sunken into its face almost completely, and it had gashes going in a diagonal direction from its left temple to its right cheek. Jason thought he might die. He never, in his whole existence, saw anything like this. He refused to die like this. He reached for his knife. The creature reacted faster than he thought possible, grabbing Jason's wrist with a slimy webbed hand. It smirked. It squeezed hard, breaking Jason's wrist. Jason yelled out in agony as tears dripped down his face. The creature's mouth contorted into the most wicked grin he'd ever seen. It used its nails to cut a gash across Jason's face, exactly like the creature had. Jason, now in agonizing pain, fell to the ground. "You will submit all of yourself. You will know nothing but obedience. You and then your people," it hissed. More of the same creatures started to come out of the water, all wearing those cursed black straw hats. They surrounded him, hovering and emanating malice. Panic rushed through his mind as he realized the last thing he would do in his life was submit to these creatures. He was powerless. Everyone would be powerless. The feeling of failure was the last thing he knew before they were upon him.